Tonight, an I-team investigation into charges of sexual harassment against a doctor at a top Boston hospital.
The nurses union claims the hospital is ignoring the complaints of several hospital staffers. And as chief investigative reporter Cheryl Fiandaca reports tonight, a judge found the claims to be credible enough to order that doctor to stay away from one nurse who says the same doctor sexually assaulted her.
But I felt extremely unsafe because I don't know if he's going to try to touch me again.
That's the voice of a tearful female staffer at Brigham and Women's Hospital telling a judge that on September 15th, Dr. Raymond Malapero III grabbed her buttocks near the OR desk.
On September the 15th, did you grab or inappropriately touch me?
No.
On the audio tapes of the harassment protection hearings obtained by the I-team, Malapero denies the sexual assault, and later the judge makes this ruling.
I do make a finding that Ms. has made a sufficient showing that she has suffered harassment and that there's a pattern of that.
The union representative for Mass Nurses Association says women started coming forward last year.
3 people came to me personally.
And what are the allegations?
Well, the allegations are sexual harassment, sexual assault, and stalking.
It was the accusation of sexual assault that led Judge Lisa Ann Grant to order Malapero, a fellow of cardiothoracic anesthesiology, to stay 150 yards away from the woman when the two were outside the hospital.
I think he's on notice now that his career seems to be hanging in the balance, and I would expect that there will be no further problems.
The judge also ordered that Malapero's access at Brigham and Women's be limited to 2 operating rooms and that he be required to use a locker room in another building. Judge Grant also noting that the hospital did not have a lawyer representing it at the hearings.
It's a bit problematic that no one from the hospital is here. In light of current events around the country, one would think that an employer would be mindful that these issues could present them with a difficulty.
In a statement, Brigham and Women's Hospital said complaints of sexual, verbal, or physical harassment are thoroughly investigated and addressed. Anyone determined to be in violation is subject to disciplinary action. Malapero's attorney said in court that he had not been disciplined and remains on staff at the hospital.
They're afraid, and no one should be afraid to go to work and do your job, especially people who work in a hospital. I mean, we're taking care of patients. That's why we're there. You know, we're not there to be harassed.
Malapero's attorney, David Meyer, told me the hospital has carefully and thoroughly reviewed these claims and has determined them to be without merit. He went on to say, I am confident that anybody who looks at the true facts will conclude the same thing. The I-team did request Malapero's file from the State Board of Registration, but it refused to provide any records involving evaluations, complaints, or disciplinary action. Cheryl Fiandaca, WBZ News.
All right, let's